The curious camel, in the heart of a vast golden desert, where dunes rolled like waves and the sun painted the sky in fiery hues, lived a young camel named Coco. Coco was unlike the other camels in her herd. While most were content to plod along under the blazing sun, carrying their loads, Coco was full of questions. "Why do we have humps?" she asked one day, her big brown eyes wide with curiosity. "To store fat, so we can survive in the desert," her mother explained patiently. "But why does mine look so much bigger than everyone else's?" Coco asked, turning to look at her reflection in a shimmering oasis pool. Her older brother snickered. "Maybe you've been eating too many cactus flowers," he teased. Coco frowned. She didn't understand why her hump was so prominent or what made it so important. Determined to find out, she decided to set off on a journey across the desert to discover why her hump made her special. Early one morning, before the sun turned the sand into a sizzling blanket, Coco bid farewell to her herd and started her adventure. The desert stretched endlessly before her, its beauty both breathtaking and daunting. As she walked, Coco encountered a family of fennec foxes. Their large ears twitched as they watched her approach. "Hello," Coco said politely. "I'm trying to figure out why my hump is so big. Do you know?" The mother fox tilted her head. "Your hump? I can't say, but I do know that my ears help me stay cool in the heat." The youngest fox chimed in. "Everyone in the desert has something that makes them special. Maybe you'll figure it out along the way." Encouraged, Coco continued on her journey, the fox's words lingering in her mind. As the day grew hotter, Coco trudged up a tall dune, her legs sinking into the warm sand. At the top, she met a desert falcon perched on a rock, preening its feathers. "Hello, falcon," Coco called. "Do you know why my hump is so big?" The falcon spread its wings proudly. "I do not, young camel, but I know why my wings are strong. They let me soar above the desert and spot prey from far away. Perhaps your hump gives you strength in its own way." Coco nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe," she said. "Thank you." The falcon took off, its shadow gliding across the sand, and Coco pressed on, feeling the weight of her hump more than ever. By evening, Coco's legs ached, and her throat was parched. She reached a small oasis, where a group of nomads and their camels were resting. A kind old man noticed Coco and offered her water. "Thank you," Coco said gratefully, drinking deeply. "You're a young one to be wandering alone," the man said, stroking his beard. "What brings you here?" "I'm trying to find out why my hump is so big," Coco replied. The man chuckled. "Do you see our camels resting by the water? Their humps store fat, allowing them to travel long distances without food or water. The desert is harsh, but a camel's hump helps it survive." Coco looked at her reflection in the water. "But mine is bigger than most. Is that bad?" "Not at all," the man said kindly. "It means you're even better prepared for the challenges of the desert. Your hump is your strength." As night fell, Coco lay under a blanket of stars, the man's words echoing in her mind. For the first time, she began to see her hump not as something strange, but as something that made her strong. The next morning, Coco continued her journey. The desert was alive with possibilities, and she wanted to see more. She climbed dunes, crossed rocky plains, and marveled at the beauty of her home. Along the way, she met a colorful chameleon who told her how its skin helped it blend in, and a wise tortoise who shared how its shell protected it from predators. Each creature she met reminded her that the desert was full of unique adaptations, each one as special as the next. On the way back to her herd, Coco spotted a caravan of travelers struggling in the heat. Their camels were tired, and their supplies were running low. Remembering what the old man had said, Coco stepped forward. "Let me help," she offered. The travelers loaded their supplies onto Coco's back, and despite the weight, she carried it with ease. Her hump held the strength and energy she needed to guide them to the nearest oasis, where they could rest and recover. The travelers thanked her profusely. "You're incredible," one of them said. "We wouldn't have made it without you." Coco's heart swelled with pride. She had discovered not only why her hump made her special, but also how to use it to help others. When Coco returned to her herd, she was met with cheers and hugs. "Where have you been?" her mother asked, relieved. "On an adventure," Coco said, smiling. "And I've learned that my hump isn't just big, it's my strength. It makes me who I am." Her older brother, who had teased her before, looked sheepish. "I guess your big hump is pretty cool after all." Coco laughed, her heart lighter than ever. She had set out to understand her differences and returned with a newfound appreciation for herself and the desert she called home. From that day on, Coco shared her story with other young camels, encouraging them to embrace their own unique qualities. "The desert is full of challenges," she would say, "but each of us has something special that helps us thrive." Under the blazing sun and the glittering stars, Coco walked proudly, her big hump a symbol of her journey and her strength.